first of all decided we wanted to get married in the summer. Rick's family, or a couple of his siblings are in education, and so summer was a good time for everybody, and so we knew we had to start planning fairly quickly. I thankfully had known Dan from working at the advertising agency. He did a bunch of holiday parties and corporate events for us over the years, and to be honest, he was the first caterer that we thought of, the first wedding planner, I think, that we thought of. And in fact, I thought of his space at 91 Horatio. I thought that this could be a really awesome place, depending on the size of our wedding. But I immediately went into planning mode and contacted Dan, and it was, just great to reconnect. And what was nice is that he knew me, and we had a common ground to start from, because it can be daunting. We learned rather quickly all the details that went into the wedding.
I'll admit, he dragged me kicking and screaming into some of the more elaborate, plans and whatnot. I tend to be fairly conservative and just sort of traditionalist, and we wanted a loft wedding and all that, but I'm a finance person. I'm sort of very budget conscious and very analytical, and I just don't see things, and it was a great exercise in sort of leap of faith, because that's what Catherine has taught me. That she's very optimistic and ebullient, and just dream and do, things will happen. That she's dragged me out of that shell to some degree, and she and Dan were very much of the same mind, and I'm kind of like, what are we lighting for? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a summer day, or how is this going to work? I just, I'd never planned an event, and I was just kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing. But, quickly developed a trust, and I knew he was the expert, and you could just see the enthusiasm and the passion he had for what he was doing, and the pictures of other weddings, and you just got a sense, of. I used to working with creative people because I worked in the finance capacity in the advertising business, and I sort of saw myself, okay, let's just look at this as a big production shoot or a big, budget exercise, whatever it is, and just sort of trust the person who's in charge to do it right. And that really worked out exceedingly well.
Yeah.
But it was, it just is my personality that it took a while to develop that trust in anybody, because I don't like to let go. But then once we did, it just, every turn, everything came out exactly the way it was promised and more, and I just kind of never looked back. It was amazing. You have to get a place, you've got to get food, you've got to get flowers and music, and photographer, and every single piece of it, they had recommendations, great people, Christian for Catherine's hair and makeup, and every time we turned around, they had a recommendation for the cake, the cupcake. It was just, and professional people, really nice people on top of it. Everything went very, very smoothly. It was never, you knew you were in the hands of real professionals who took a lot of pride in what they did, and everything went smoothly. There were no glitches.
For me, who was doing most of the planning, or at least, gathering of all of the details, it just was so comforting to just go to Dan. Dan knows it all. And there was no hesitation. There was no lack of responsiveness. He got immediately what I was trying to achieve, the stunning, but simple, but elegant, but cool, but hip, wedding, and he understood the vision immediately, and he actually helped me and helped us not only achieve the vision, but see things that we wouldn't even have possibly, saw without his expertise and passion. I think passion is a good word.
Yeah, every idea, every thought, we had 5 different amazing alternatives, or the menus, or the flowers, or the cakes, or the music, or the locations, or it was just, everything was thought out. This is going to be the event of the summer. He kept
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
And for us,
He makes you
it
feel,
really was.
Yeah, like you're the only couple getting married, or having an event, or for the whole summer. That's truly how he made us feel. And
All the way through to the very end, I'll never forget this one gesture where at the very end of the night, I'm not so sure how it came to this, or we didn't have a car. I don't remember how we got to the situation, but that we had everyone say, okay, we're going to go to the Rosie O'Grady's pub, after the wedding. And Dan said, okay, fine. He took us in his car, the two of us, and he drove us to the pub, the hotel, himself in his own car, which was totally spontaneous. It wasn't planned. And that kind of attention to detail. I mean, I walked into the reception, walked upstairs. I had these nightmares of cousin's wedding where we stood in the stairs in the catering hall for half an hour to wait so we could be introduced as the best man, the maid of honor, the bride. And I said, I don't want to wait. And Dan said, okay, give me 5 minutes, you're in the limo, we'll clear the elevator, and then you'll send out you'll come up by yourself and just walk in as the entrance. And nothing, formal, but just nice. And, okay. Well, 5 minutes came by, and we're like, well, we're not quite ready. We're having a champagne and limo. But okay, up we go. We came in, out. It was perfect, right? Within 2 minutes, somebody had a drink in my hand. Someone was coming out to me, and the food was there. Everything went perfectly. None of the little pet peeves that you worry about, none of them came to fruition.
Yeah.
It was just, the food was exquisite. People were just, and it looked beautiful. And the place looked exactly as planned, if not better. And Dan was there, but not overbearing. And he was having a great time, and people, he just sensed when someone needed something, and there it was. Catherine had someone following her around the whole time, but not, again, in an overbearing way. It just went, I've never been involved in an event where everything went in just perfectly smoothly like that. It was just, and it was beautiful. It was stunning. I never imagined I'd have a wedding or a party like that. It was just world class. It was unbelievable.
they all looked like models, and all of my, my friends and cousins and nieces, wanted to date them. But that was, but no, it was perfection. Again, the service was exquisite. Just friendly, but appropriate at all times. It was just all about us. And I really have never, in a 5-star restaurant, I have not had that level of service that we had that night. That, I don't remember anything at all being amiss at any time. There was always enough food, there was always enough drinks, the tables were immediately clean, fresh new wine glasses. And Dan, obviously they have, the respect, or he has the respect of everybody because, it's just a well-oiled machine. You can tell that there are no...
Yeah, all the way up to it, whenever we needed something, we called Dan, we called Jim. Jim was all over the place getting stuff together. If Dan wasn't there, Jim was there. Jim wasn't there, Dan was there.
Dan named it the reveal, which we talk about all the time. We love that. And the garage doors went up, and we danced. We had taken dance lessons. What was? I know the song is Frank Sinatra.
What are you doing the rest of your life?
Yeah.
But the way it was set up was, I don't know if you know the place, Sun West, but half the studio was shut off with these garage doors, 2/3 of it. So it was a small cocktail party first, and then when it was time for our dance, where all the food was set up, the vast majority of the room, all the light, the windows, were behind these doors. So my brother announced, the best man said, Catherine and Rick's first dance. Hit a button, Dan, the doors go up.
Oh my God.
There's the whole room with all the flowers and the food, and there we are dancing to this music, and it was just this unbelievably dramatic moment. And people were blown away by it. And then people started to think, where's all the food? Where are we going to go? It's a small room. Is this the whole night? For about an hour, and then poof, it just... I've never been involved in anything that dramatic.
No.
It was really great. It was a highlight.
When people talk, to this day, honestly, unprovoked, people, whenever we run into anybody who's at the wedding, they want to rehash the whole day. Usually that's reserved for the bride and groom, but they really want to talk about it, and they specifically comment on the lighting, against the panorama dance floor, the fronds. These were enormous, beautiful fronds, gigantic greenery, and it's just, and they will take me through, honestly, they will take me through their perceptions of the afternoon and night. And there's nothing I want to talk about more than my wedding, you know, but at a certain point that can be some tiresome. And, you know, it has never, I mean, it's 2 years, but it has never, and I don't think it will ever get, you know, boring or old. I mean, that's absolutely how incredible the day was.
I've been to a lot of weddings, you know, I've been to a lot of very exclusive weddings and the preppy college and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've sat at tables with the senators at some of my friends' weddings and all that kind of stuff. And it's an amazing feeling to really believe that our wedding was the best wedding by far that I've ever been to. It was the most fun, it was the most beautiful, the most well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a great feeling. It's the best one we've ever been to by far was ours. I mean, who can say that?
Yeah.